Welcome back to day 4 of the Advent Calendar coloring book. So let's find page 4 and let's open it. And what will we have to do today? Okay. Okay, and it is a coloring page, and it is an owl and a couple of, or 3 other smaller birds. So they're sitting in a tree with snowflakes around them. It's just a very pretty coloring page. So I will think about what kind of color palette I'm going to use and stuff, and I may actually go grab my coloring cubes and pick a coloring palette, and I'll share that with you, and then we'll get started with some coloring. So I've selected a color palette. So I selected one from the coloring guide number 1, which is cube number 1, and I picked from the Christmas area. I picked palette number 182, and then I went to my color companion guide for polychromos, and I'll take the light off of there for a minute, and I went to palette 182, and then lists are, these are the pencil numbers. So I went and I selected, turn the light back on, selected the pencils. When there's a star beside the number, like 155 has a star, that means that she's added white. So 155 was turquoise, blue, and white, and it's supposed to be that color. I don't think that color is going to happen, so I'm actually going to set those aside, and I selected a different color from my, so sky or Sax blue 1395 from my macaron set. So we've got 4 polychromos and 1 macaron, and then I can always pull in some extra colors if I want. So the colors are cold gray number 1, which is 230, burnt ochre 187, Indian red 192, and then I'm substituting Sax blue for this color, and then warm gray 5 274 is that color. So these are the colors I'm going to select, and I'm going to color this page. I'll zoom you in a little bit, and I'll just color some of this, and we'll have a short chat for a bit, and then what I'll do is I'll go away and do some more coloring. If there's something fun that I'm doing or a different technique, then I'll bring you back and we'll do a little bit of it together. That way the video isn't extremely long and you're not getting bored watching me color. Just quickly sharpening all the pencils a little bit. I have a tendency, if you've seen my how many owls video from early in November, I tend to always do my owls a gray color, so I'm probably end up going to be doing gray, and then I'll do these little birds in the blue or the brown colors. So, but I will be pulling in some green, obviously, because we've got some green in here, and maybe a little bit of metallic for the snowflakes and stuff, but we'll see. But for now, I will start with maybe one of these little birds. I would like to do them in some blue, I think. So do some gray and some blue. So we'll zoom you in. We'll start on this little guy. So we've had 3 Advent days so far. Today is the 4th day. I hope you're enjoying a little break from your day by checking out what I've been doing in this Advent calendar. It's been fun to have something to do, although it's the activities, some of them are a little bit involved, so I am having to work kind of hard to get it all done in one day. Just give it a hint of blue. The paper in this book is quite nice. It's got a good tooth. It has done really well with both gel pen and some water medium. If you've noticed on the, or as you saw on some of the earlier days. These are not going to be correctly colored birds. I don't know what bird this actually is, so don't judge me on my species identification. I am sticking to the colors I've allowed, so I'll use It's nice to have a set color palette and you have to just work within those colors. It takes some of the stress of looking for the perfect color all the time. Okay, I will continue coloring this and I'll bring you back when I've done a little bit more on the page. Just thought I'd pop back in and show you that I've completed the 3 smaller birds. I'm going to do some of the foliage now and get that underway. I did add cream to my palette instead of white. I mean, I still have white here, but I thought that the cream showed up better. This is quite white paper, so it was a little bit more visible. Now this looks like actually there's quite a bit of snow on this branch, so I will try and do some snow effects, I guess. We'll see. Polychromos are my regular pencil that I typically color with, so it's very much in my comfort zone. Perhaps on another one of the future days I'll use a different set of pencils to make it more interesting for everybody. So I'll keep continuing on with this and I'll pop back in when I've got some more done for you to look at. Okay, the 3 little birds are done, and I pulled in a chromium green oxide for some greenery. I did use just the 2 pencils that I did have to do the bark, and I used some gray under the birds for some shading. So that is still sticking pretty much with the color palette. I did need to bring in some green though, obviously for the pine needles. I'm going to pull in some stickles now and to the snow on these pieces, and then I'm going to let it sit and dry while I take a break from coloring. So it'll not seem like a break for you, but it'll be a bit of a break for me while I'm letting this dry. Just using the clear stickles, although it's take a pin and Sometimes the little glitter bits get stuck in the nozzle. Okay, so I'm going to apply some glitter to the snowy areas. I left them white. Sometimes I'll color the snow a light blue or pink, a light gray, but this glitter has some different colors in it already, so it will look like snow, I'm hoping. We'll let this dry. Then we'll continue on coloring for the trees that are kind of a little bit of different shapes. I'm going to use some green, but I'm also going to use the gray color because they are in the background, and so they can just look like gray shapes. So there is the snow on the trees. We'll let that dry, and then we'll continue on with coloring our picture. All right, here we are. I have done quite a bit more. I added some blue, ice blue stickles around the very edge. I'll bring it up a little bit around the circle. I have completed the owl, and instead of doing just gray, I've added both grays. So that is the cold gray 1, the warm gray 5. I also used the 2 blues, which was turquoise 155, and then the Sax blue from the Brute Ferner macaron set. Add a little glint to his eye. And now, I put a little bit of blue on some of the snowflakes. It's quite a busy page, so I'm thinking that I'm not going to glitz all of the snowflakes as well. I used the 2 grays on the corners here to kind of give them a bit of a 3D effect. I used the cream on the sunrise, so it kind of just blends into the background. So other than adding the green for the pine trees, I haven't actually added any additional colors other than cream. So we've stuck to our original palette, which is pretty awesome. And I am going to add some Pentel Sparkle Silver to all of the snowflake dots. We already have quite a bit of stickles on the page. So we've got some really nice glitter on the snow here, and then we've got some the same glitter that was on the snow I have coming down on the snow drips here, and then the blue stickles on the around. So I think there's already enough bling on the page, so I'm just going to put the Sparkle Pop on these, what I assume are clumps of snow. And I'll finish that. And as soon as I'm done that, I think then I'm done. I think that this page is probably busy enough. It's quite light. I am happy with how the owl turned out, though. I'm not sure if this lighting is doing it justice, but yeah, very happy. I did use a tiny bit of Gamsol to smooth out some of the darker blue areas, just for a bit of transition, but otherwise I didn't add a lot of other materials this time. So I'm gonna finish off the dots, and then I'll come back with a still shot of the final picture at the end of this video. But thank you very much for coming along. This was December 4th, so day 4. We have 20 more days left, and I'm excited to see what tomorrow brings. Until then, have a great evening, and see you later.